I want to talk about Garnacho, and this Garnacho kind of highlights one of my biggest problems with Manchester United right now, and this sense of entitlement from a lot of players that haven't done anything. You know, there are rumors, not some of them are rumors and some are more concrete stuff of Rashford and Sancho going. I believe that both Rashford and Sancho should go. We're at a point where we're going in a new direction, and both of these players are just not performing enough. However, when I talk about Rashford and Sancho, part of me does feel a little bit sad because we know how impactful Rashford and Sancho have both been in the past. Rashford is a player who, across some of his best seasons, he scored over 20 goals, he scored over 30 goals. He's been a key player for England. He's been a key player for Manchester United. He's won the Europa League with United. He's won stuff with United, and he's been part of a bigger project. Sancho, he's not performed well at United at all, but before now, at Dortmund in the Bundesliga, Sancho was one of the better players in the world. He was one of the best wingers in the world, and you can make a very good argument for Sancho being a top 10 winger in the world. Where we are right now with Garnacho, we have not reached those levels. Nowhere near close reaching those levels. And this player is acting out. We all saw what happened in Ibiza with Garnacho and his Aston Villa t-shirt of Rashford. Stuff like that is unacceptable. But it's not just that. I think that's just like the peak of the iceberg of all the things Garnacho has done wrong at this club and why he is the first player on that list to go, even above Sancho. Because I can kind of understand why Sancho wants to go. I can kind of understand where the misalignment is with Sancho. He felt disrespected. He's not performed. There's a lot of things you can toss at, and there's still there's some people that excuse me. There's some people that defend Sancho. However, if you defend Garnacho, you need to seriously look at your alliances and really reconsider if you're a Manchester United fan or not. Garnacho cannot be at this club any longer, and I'm gonna get into why. First, I just want to talk about Garnacho's performances, and so far this season, there are a lot of stats you can nitpick. You can talk about how inefficient he is. You can talk about how he's awful on the ball. There are a lot of things you can talk about, but I feel like a lot of those things are also down to age. He will get better. However, the one stat I want to focus on today is the amount of big chances Garnacho has missed so far this season, and they total 14. Garnacho has missed 14 big chances this season for Manchester United. And if you ask me, that is unacceptable. There's no way that I'm going to allow a player of Garnacho's experience, of his quality, which is not very high, of his quality and of his recent performances to disrespect this club. The greatest club in England, one of the greatest football clubs in the world. Garnacho, if you don't get in line, you can go. We are past that point. He is gone. That's the main thing. Because again, it's to that point again of like, there are players out there that act out, but they're quality players. There are, and it's not just in football, it's just across all sports. We just had the NBA draft and we had a lot of these prospect players acting out, and it's the same thing. When you haven't proven yourself, you can't act out because people will easily turn on you. You haven't done enough to try and demand transfers and demand playing time. You're not performing well. And the other thing, and then the second thing that I really want to focus on was his relationship with Ruben Amorim. I really like the way Amorim is tackling a lot of these players. If you're going to disrespect the manager publicly, if you're going to criticize your playing time and you play the way Garnacho does, I'm sorry, that is just not good enough. I just made a video explaining why I think Onana should stay at Manchester United, even though he's not had the best season. I still feel like Onana can be one of the better players this season. I feel like Onana can be part of this project, and I feel like if we give Onana time, he will develop. And we can't really afford to spend money on a goalkeeper right now when there are things that we should be focusing on. I'll leave the link to that video in the somewhere. You can find that video in the description or in the cards above. However, that is not true for Garnacho. There are a lot of players out there. There are a lot of wingers that play in Garnacho's position that can come in and do a better job than he does. And they won't be that expensive either. When you're constantly trying to call out the manager and say you're not getting enough playing time, and you're missing 14 big chances in a season, let alone how inefficient you are on the ball, let alone how inefficient you are in the final third, and you don't provide pretty much anything defensively, you can go. That's my overall verdict on Garnacho. If you want to act like a fool at Manchester United, you will be made an example of, and I hope that we get rid of Garnacho as soon as possible. This is a club where we need to start cultivating excellence once again. Excellent on the pitch, excellent off the pitch. And Garnacho has not been close to that standard at all. So if you want to go back to winning ways, Garnacho is one of those players that we need to get rid of. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching the video until the end. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, do all these things to please help me grow this channel as per usual. Let me know what you guys think of Garnacho. Should we keep him? Should we let him go? And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.